So it's the start of 2020, you guys. It is January 2nd, 2020, and that means it's time for me to record a new Patreon video, or rather, a new introduction to my site, what I write, and why you should consider becoming a patron. So, my Patreon is a very core way of me providing access to my content that is not available generally elsewhere, or at least not at the time it's posted. I do a lot of work on fan studies and on fandom. I'm working on 2 pieces right now about the Star Wars fandom that are related to the Rey Kylo fandom immediately after The Rise of Skywalker, as well as what I call my Big Ben problem. My Big Ben Solo problem. And those are currently in the works. So one thing that I use my Patreon to help me kind of afford to create content, as people who have Patreons do. So I like to try and provide value as best as I can to my patrons. So what I will be going with from here on in is very simple, minimal content for my tiers. So I have 3 tiers. I have $1 tier where you get access to things like works in progress or audio backlogs, which are me recording narration for pieces that I've done. And then the $3 tier, you get the finished draft of something that will be published on my website later. At $5, you get access to audio posts, things that aren't published elsewhere off of Patreon. And then at $10, you get access to my Ask Me Anything tier, and I need to be better about reminding people to do that. So for $10, which is essentially like an hour's worth of work, I will look at, I will do cover copies for you. I'll tell you what your book or your blurb sounds like. Like, I'll do an hour's worth of work for you related to writing, fandom, sensitivity reading. If you want me to record something for you, if you want an hour's worth of my writing, I got you. So those are my tiers, and that's the thing for the $10 one. But from here on in, what I'll be doing is the minimum content, as in, you will not be getting anything less than the things that I'm about to tell you guys about, right? So that means that at the $1 tier, you guys will get at least 1 photo post and 1 audio post that is a backlog. At the $3 post, that's a finished fucked up man thing. So the $1 tier is work in progress post. That's a snippet, it's a draft, it's something not finished. And then an audio backlog post. Then at the $3 tier, you'll get 1 finished draft, so something that is finished and it'll be on my site within the next month or 2. And you'll get access to an audio post that may be turned into public content text-wise later on. Then at the $5 tier, short video, and some kind of exclusive content. I'm looking into flash fiction, but I'm not sure yet, but I have it written down. I actually literally have flash fiction written on my planner. And then $10 tier will remain the Ask Me Anything. And if you are at that tier and you are pledging more than $10, you can ask me to do that amount of hours of work. Keep in mind that I do work during the day at my day job, which is in marketing. So depending on what you want, we'll work something out. But yes, I really appreciate that I have room to do this, and you guys make that all really possible. Otherwise I don't really make anything off of my writing, mostly because I don't remember that I can pitch things to people, or if I can do pitch things, I kind of like get dissatisfied with responses or lack of responses. So in order for me to be honest and get my content out as I write it, it's easier for me and better for me to use Patreon and the support of my patrons, who will also hopefully feel comfortable telling me, like, perhaps not, about something I'm working on. I'm really excited for 2020. You know, we're 2 days in. The Star Wars fandom is already still incredibly anti-Black, but I'm still ready for it. You know, I'm ready for what this year will bring. I'm ready for change. I'm ready for hopefully positive political movements and successes. And I'm ready to write. You know, there are things that I'll no longer be doing for my website or Patreon. I stopped doing the Anita Blake rereads because that content is just very stressful, and it doesn't really make sense for me to harp on her content anymore. Like, she's never going to read what I write. She's never going to learn, so that's fine. Sporking is not that entertaining when you realize it's futile. I'm also, for Patreon, currently no longer doing audience participation or the talking tropes. I'm going to try to figure out a way to provide you guys with content that you immediately want. That's why my schedule for this month is trying to balance my fandoms. So I don't have any plans to like overwhelm you guys with K-pop across the board. Just like 2 things next week on my website, and maybe something on Patreon, but that's it, you know. And I'm focusing on Star Wars. A lot of people followed me for Star Wars, and I'm also going to be leaning in on the critical aspect of my commentary, because I feel like too many people are ignoring the fact that fandom racism not only is real racism, but it's really painful racism. This is stuff that fans of color, and in my case, Black fans, are dealing with, and we're seeing people ignore what we're going through and what we're seeing actors and characters be subject to in fandom, like with John Boyega and with Finn. And I'm going to be harder on in my commentary. Like, I'm obviously not going to directly engage with people because I don't have a large following anywhere, but I still don't want to direct hate at anyone. So I'm going to work on being careful about that, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop commenting, you know. The things I've seen in the past 24 hours alone about John Boyega have honestly made me kind of resolute about the fact that I will be continuing to talk about racism in fandom and racism in media and anti-Blackness wherever I see it, and I will document it, and I will try my best to educate people via my website or Patreon. I'm not going to say Twitter because I block a lot of people on Twitter, and that's probably not helpful. And one thing that you guys should prepare for in 2020 is an evolution of my What Fandom Racism Looks Like series. In 2020, prepare to get schooled. We're doing Fandom Racism 101 and 201. You're gonna learn. You're gonna fucking learn. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for learning from me. Thank you for making it possible for me to learn and grow with you guys. My followers, my readers, my listeners, all of you. Thank you for seeing me into 2020, and let's learn some shit.